All right. So I have been playing a lot of audiobooks for the past hours. Um, I hope you enjoyed all of them. I had them in a playlist. And so you couldn't hear it, but I actually had rain playing in the background, but only I could hear the rain playing in the background. So because I did not do something properly on my side in the studio, I'm not able to type you back in the chat room. Okay. So these audio books were loaded. Okay. They were loaded, very helpful. I wanted to focus on the more practical audiobooks. So, like, not books about your imagination and stuff. I felt that that would be confusing for those of you who was listening to the books in order. Even though I know that the this page is very practical, I felt the need to just give you more direct audiobooks. Now, as you see, these audiobooks are 1 hour, a little over an hour, depending, maybe even 2 hours the most. So these are audiobooks you can take the time to listen to, take the time to take notes of, an audiobook that you can actually listen to in repetition and listen to over and over and over again, to keep applying it to yourself, because that's another way to listen to audiobooks. And I promise you, it'll be the kind of movement, the things, the strength, the mental agility, the mental strength, the action that you need in your life. So this is just the beginning. Notice that many of the things that I have said throughout this series, throughout this just the whole topic of the fake friend thing, right? Notice that there's a lot of things being said that I have exactly said those things. And a lot of things being said, you saw people on TikTok in the compilations say those things, because these things in life, the cycles and everything that comes with it, understand, I get to tell you all the time, you're not alone. You're not alone in these tests. You're not alone in these experiences. You're not alone in making these mistakes. You're not alone. The thing is, where you have a coming togetherness in your life is where you have people like me, people on TikTok and these compilations and stuff, to speak about the awareness of what they have gone through with people or with the fake friend, or speak of the awareness of certain things that they listen to in their life and they recognize. You see what I'm saying? Because all of it comes down to uh yourself, right? Yourself. Focus on yourself, being yourself, embracing yourself, living life for yourself, doing things for yourself, being okay with doing these things for yourself. That's what it all comes down to. You understand? Sipping green tea, and I put some lime inside of my ice. So when I put the water over the ice, I can taste the lime. I don't have to put the lime in the water because the lime is already in the ice. I didn't have no more lemon. I had lemon, but I guess I drank it all up. So I had lime left. So that's what I got, while also drinking some green tea. So again, hide your emotion because no one cares. And this book is giving you practical skills to just understand no one cares. Okay? No one cares. Okay? You got to understand no one cares. No one wants to see you happy. Okay? So even when you think that somebody cares, even when you think you got that friend that's in a dire situation and they're making ridiculous life decisions, don't ever think that they care. You know, understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm just keeping it real. Like, some people, they don't care about themselves either. Shit, no one cares, and some people don't care about themselves either. And so don't like to see people who do in this world, you know? Because if we're going to talk compassion or we're going to talk the word empathy, let's look at this world. You know, um, this world is fucked up, and it's been that way. And it's a lot of us that has always known this world is fucked up. A lot of us has known since we were teens, since we was in our 20s, that people set people up and rob people. People go in people's house and steal from them. People, we knew about what love bombing was before it was termed love bombing. Stop, Bella. So we knew about all this shit before it was termed love bombing. You understand? And people was doing this and doing this and that to people and all that kind of thing. So understand that there are some people who navigate in this world and they just don't see the purpose of self-love. They don't see the purpose of embracing yourself. They don't see it. But that ain't the point. Whenever you are listening to these audiobooks and you're making these changes and transformations in your life, you need to focus on the changes and transformations for your life and how it applies to you and everything around you. You don't have time to give a damn about how everybody else is feeling and what they're going through and all kind of stuff unless it applies to something that it does apply for you. You see what I'm saying? I need you to understand something else too in life. I learned, if you see somebody doesn't care, you move accordingly. Okay? If you see somebody doesn't care, move accordingly. Understand that just because somebody's family doesn't mean that they care. These are harsh things of life. These are the things that some people are taught. Some people don't get the. Some people unfortunately are not taught these things, and we have to get it out the mud. We have to learn it the hard way. And everybody look at us crazy when we tell people this shit. And some people actually get taught these things. You know what I'm saying? Because the thing about life, that motherfucker gonna move on. And from what we learned yesterday, um, we learned that anger is the core of mental illness. That's just my little theory, my little discovery, that anger is the core of mental illness. And because of that, that's why, with anger being the core of mental illness, this is all a part of where all everything else in the physical body begins to react, such as the strokes, such as the the strokes, such as the uh lupus and all of these different conditions, Alzheimer's, the diabetes, and all these type of things. All of this begins to happen because of anger. So we learned too that in order to heal anger is action. You have to learn how to take action. And it said that people who were angry people were usually going to take a place of helping people, like the anger is going to make you have more compassion for people. So therefore you're going to go out there, help people, charity work, stuff like that. The misuse of it will be the Charlie Kirk dude, you know what I'm saying? Because that's Charlie Kirk, everybody seems to. I'ma just I gotta do a sidebar. I gotta do a sidebar on Charlie Kirk right now. I'm not even gonna just show my, how I usually just do this, okay? Um I saw the millions of people around the world of all cultures who had to say fuck this man, who had to say fuck that white nigga. I said, whoa, wow. I'm talking about any accent you can think of was on that camera saying fuck him. I was just like, I'm just gonna take that show I did and I'm gonna just make it private. I'm gonna just go find that show I did and I'm gonna make that bitch private because after I saw that shit, I was like, whoa, whoa. I know I was talking to black women significantly. I like black people, don't do it, don't do it, just don't say nothing, just don't say nothing. I was like, black people don't talk, don't talk, don't talk. But he attacked everything in the most ignorant way ever. He really needed somebody to sit down and read a book to him and teach him some shit. He really needed to teach himself some shit. He was very ignorant. He was young and dumb and very, very, very ignorant. I mean, people, I have to tell y'all something. I mean, listen, the people of the other races, the other cultures were worse. They were worse. I didn't even hear nobody black say that. Black people was just like, well, black people want the spiritual aspect. They was like, you reap what you sow. This is what the Bible said. The tongue is a sword, and the this and that, and it says this and that. And I like, okay, yeah, true. Yeah, tongue is a sword. I agree. I didn't disagree with none of that. I just wanted black people to shut the fuck up. I just wanted black people to not say nothing. I have my reasons for that, especially black women. I want black women really to shut the fuck up. So when the non-black people were fucking talking, girl, they was like, the kids can get a stepdaddy. They were better off without him. He was in the ooh. I said, God damn. I saw the wife do some kind of speech yesterday. And when I saw her do this type of speech yesterday, I was like, is she going to start spewing hate? Is she going to start, like, I was just waiting on the edge, like, is she going to start going after, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just waiting to see what she was going to say, because I was like, if this woman attacks people, she's going to get something coming at her that she ain't going to be ready for. That's the first thing that hit my mind. I said, she better not scream no leftist. She better just say thank you to everybody who said their condolences. She better just say thank you. She started talking like damn her motherfucking husband was Marcus fucking Garvey. You didn't stop anything and this, that, and the third, and we're going to keep going. I don't really think so, though. I don't really think so, y'all. I don't really think so. I wanted to hear the truth. What I'm going to tell y'all, I want to feel my prediction. It's going to be another one. It's going to be another one. And I'm telling y'all what I'm telling y'all, and it's going to probably sound strange to y'all. What we hitting? Because we coming out of snake. I keep forgetting. Bitch, are we about to be into the GOAT year next year? Oh, the last time we was in the GOAT year was 2015. It's 1990 what? 1990's a horse. Did we come out of the horse year already? No, we came out of the horse year 2017. Oh, we about to go back into a horse year. I'm actually ready for that year. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not gonna hold you. I actually like it. Even though it's the opposite of my Chinese animal, I actually like the horse year. I ain't gonna hold you. 8, 9, 10 is gonna be a one personal year too. Hell yeah, that's gonna be the fucking year. You got me fucked up. Hell yeah. Yeah, cause I'm telling y'all, and I'm somebody else getting shot, bro. It's between Trump, and we don't want Trump because we don't want JD to be the fucking president. Because if JD too weak, JD too weak, man. If he become if JD become the president, they gonna drag him. They gonna harass him out the office, bro. And them trannies gonna come at him harder because they know he weak. JD too weak. Um, I I I believe the world is staged. You know, we're not getting into that, but I really believe there's gonna be another shooting. Because I'm gonna help you understand why I'm telling you this, right? The way that it works is they give you something in your mind to get used to, right? So that when the real thing happens, the mind has already, like, it's like a karmic thing. The mind has already been prepared for that it was coming, right? Feel me? It's like it's kind of interesting because I understand the clear and the karma thing. Somebody was once telling me, like that friend would be like, ah, ha, ha, I'm gonna slap you, and eventually they slap you. Or when you watch a movie and you see somebody with a knife and they're using the knife and they're swirling the knife around and they're poking the knife and stuff like that as a way to be a sign that they're gonna eventually they end up stabbing a person, right? That's what I think. You ever see movies where somebody sees somebody get shot in front of them and then the gun ends up getting drawn at them? You see what I'm saying? That's what I feel this whole shooting thing is. We're getting prepared for another one because another one's about to happen. I can't tell you who. Everybody been saying the longest that Trump is gonna get. It's Trump. Everybody been saying Trump for the longest since he been the president. They've been saying the shit. They said that shit about Obama, but I feel like it's between Trump and somebody else. I just can't see who it can be. And definitely not nobody black. Because technically, you think about it, I gotta watch that again. Damn. Technically, you think about it, we've already seen Trump get shot at. You feel me? And he got shot at from a roof. And then JD gets shot from a roof. You see what I'm saying? You just have to pay attention to the patterns, pattern recognition, because that's what it is too. Those of us that I'm telling you, for you and you, y'all that's young out here, pay attention to this stuff, especially like me being a writer. I write stuff down. You know what I'm saying? So you you just have to pay attention to how it works. You see what I'm saying? How you remember it. See, because your date could be different from the date that's recorded, or maybe it's the same sometime, you know? So yeah. But yeah, why is the point of hiding your emotions important? Now, I've got into some situations at my job. I got into some shit. Lucky that I'm still there. And I calmed down, but it was justifiable. You know, it was very justifiable. And the thing is, uh, with that, with that, I calmed down a lot because I just calmed down. Last time I felt bad because I scared people. I did. I could feel it that I scared people in that room. And I ain't like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the Hispanics, they ain't fuck with me no more. I ain't get fuck with. I don't know. I just leave it alone. I just did. They ain't fuck with me no more. Let me just say that. Um, Not all of them, but some of them really just did not fuck with me. Like they completely did not fuck with me. Like straight up, don't fuck with me type shit. And then what happened is Time is going on. I've been chilling. I've been low key. I've been doing my thing. But I have shown my level of anger at work, whether said or unsaid, right? And we live and come from a culture where, you know, you got to show people to not mess with you. You got to show an ounce of something. Because I always noticed, like, one time I went off real bad on this chick at the Chinese at the nail salon. Cause she was just being extra. And I was like, look, bitch, if you don't want to come into work today, you don't have to. Like, you're not listening to me. Like, and I'm being respectful to you. Like, you being like, you know. And they said to me, I said I had to curse her out. And it was like, good. Every time I would say that, I'd be like, and I had to curse her out, and it'd be like, good. And I would constantly go through that. And I would be like, and they'll be like, and sometimes I would get asked, did you cry? I'd be like, yeah. They'd be like, good. This is what I always have been told. Like, did you curse him out? Good. Did you cry? Good. Even better. That's what I always was told. And so as time went on in my life, I realized it is about having more composure. It is about being more self-controlled, having more emotional control, being able to say what you have to say to someone in the face of disrespect, to say what you have to say to someone who clearly your first reaction would be to curse them out. But there's different ways in which things can be said. And believe it or not, years ago, my own mother told me, I don't raise my voice. I just say what I have to say, just like this. I do not raise my voice at nobody. You don't have to raise your voice. This is what my mother taught me years ago. And here I am in a space of my life now that I'm older. And I'm like, not realizing how deep the anger issues have gotten. Because as you get older, it builds up, you know? And I'm like, yeah, you don't have to do that. So this is a part of hiding your emotions. It's about emotional intelligence. There's so many books on emotional intelligence. Teach yourself that. I'm teaching myself that more. Emotional control, right? Self-control. All of this stuff, right? To build yourself a lot stronger. Because in this fake friend series, understand that that fake friend is going to delight at the point of making you angry, getting you pissed off, making you come out of yourself, all of these different things and things. And so you have to be more wiser than that. Honestly, when you're encountering a fake friend, it comes to a point in your life where you're just going to have to ghost. You're going to have to cut that person off because that's what people like that need. But see, in the case of what this book is talking about, right? Let's just go into the very first thing. Now, this ain't going to be a long show, just so y'all guys know. I know I have a tendency to do a long show. We might do a little bit of like an hour and 30 minutes, okay, for this show today. Okay, so let's just touch on something being said here. Now, there's a lot of books that was read last night. Let me look back in my history. Never tell people what to do. I fell asleep, by the way, y'all. So I was sleeping sound, mute on while you guys are listening to the audiobooks, and I appreciate y'all. Focus on you until you win. That was a good one. How to speak less and understand more. Okay. How to manage time like how to manage time like the successful. That one was very, very good. That's when I fell asleep. How to raise your standards. That one was awesome as well. Imagination is everything. I had moved to how to raise your standards and then focus on yourself and how to force your brain to do hard things. That's what I had listened to. Y'all did not listen to that one yet. Okay, and And I'm going to go back to how to raise your standards too. Okay, so let's listen to the very first beginning of this one. Hold on. Okay. My correct. My correct. Right. Yes. The reason this right here may be complicated for some of you, right, is because of where you come from, right? And where you come from, you're taught, nah, I don't play that. Nah, we're not doing that today. Nah, you're not going to bully me. Nah, that's not going to happen. And even if we let it happen one time, everybody's going to get it from that one person that we let happen to that one time, right? Let's call it what it is, right? For those of you that come from that. Now, because if you don't address it that way, what are you? You a punk. You a punk ass bitch. You know what I'm saying? You pussy, right? You all these things if you don't. Oh, you're not about that life. You're not like that. Like, and the thing is, what's funny is you may really be somebody worse than everybody in that room. And you know that. See what I'm saying? I know that I'm worse than anybody in my family that has gotten into fights that I ever seen fight. I know I'm worse than any of them. I know I'm worse than my sister. You know what I'm saying? Who been fighting and getting it in those streets, tussling, fist fighting, tussling. You understand me? People have to throw trash cans and stuff at her. Okay, throw objects at her because she just getting it in like that. I'm worse than her. See, I know that about myself. And because of that, having that awareness is what keeps me humble. People don't understand that those of us who are the most humble people are actually the most dangerous people. And I'm not just saying that. How many times have you seen these incidents where someone is acting very erratic, right? They're very erratic. Oh, da 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 da, I'll beat your ass. I'm this, my name is da 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 da. And those of you from the city, we see it all the time, right? And you just see this person that's just sitting there, right? Probably just still reading their magazine, probably reading their newspaper, just minding their business. And then after a while, you're gonna be like, wait a minute. You start looking up that person up and down. You start realizing you be like, wait a minute, this person pretty goddamn tight and fit. And this person, you see this person calves on their legs, and this person pretty. Wait a minute, if this person hit this person gonna whoop their ass. And so this person that's running their mouth all crazy, and a person that's real calm and humble, as soon as they stand up, do you notice how everybody jumps up and stops them? Does anybody ever notice that? Why is that? Because everybody can see that humbleness in that person. Once they stand up, they know that person is going to get something that they ain't going to expect. See what I'm saying? Or the person with somebody running their mouth and that person real quiet, right? And that person just quietly take off their hat, quietly just quietly just put their stuff in their pocket, adjust their clothes, you know what I'm saying? And stand up while that person is running their mouth, and they just letting them run their mouth, and they walking around them real slow. You know that person is about to get it every time. That is the representation of emotional control that you have to have when people act like this. You got to understand what happened to me when I was at work. I got poked. Okay. This Hispanic bitch poked me. Okay. Yeah, exactly. What the fuck was I supposed to do? I had to address her with my mouth. I was like, yo, we not doing this today, lady. No, lady, we not doing this. You not. That's it. Did you poke me, lady? We not doing this today. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You can't just be poking people. Who you think this is? See, it's stuff like that, because you're gonna have people that understand. It goes back to that. Nobody likes you. Everybody hates you. Nobody want to see you happy. So to that person who takes care of themselves, that looks good and this and that, and then you're working this certain type of job, it doesn't matter. The people in your job look good too. I want you to know that too. Just something about you now, every people gonna poke at you. So you, out of all people, we have to learn. I don't like the word we, but y'all get what I'm saying. We have to develop more emotional control. We have to develop more standards for ourselves. So let's listen to it a little bit more, just a little bit more, then we're going to jump into the standards book. Mhm. Okay, we don't even got to do all that. We're going to get into standards because oh, I know y'all told me before that this computer is $749. Okay, a lot of computers are about to turn into AI, y'all. I think that's pretty dope. I do. I don't know if y'all can see that commercial, but a lot of these computers are turning into AI. Um, yeah, I got to accept it. AI is here to stay. Okay, it is here to stay, and I think it's dope. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and hold on. Let this go ahead and I want to skip to something because we're not going through the entire audio book. Chapter 1 is understanding emotional control. Chapter 2, it's called, this is Narrative Directions, by the way. Shout out to y'all, whoever owns that page. When to share and when to, not share your emotions. We have a whole book on that, right? Do we have any chapter in between that? Building inner strength, right? The power of emotional independence. We're going to go into that next. Mastering situational awareness. Okay, so we're going to definitely hit the situational awareness part. Self validation and internal motivation. That's my favorite chapter right there. And I woke up to that chapter. Take control of your emotions, right? So let's go ahead. The power of emotional independence. I am a one sentence person. Like the first line is everything. The first line of a song, the first line of a book is everything to me. So let's go. A commercial might come on. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand why my computer be so hot, bro. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I'm gonna figure it out though. Something's going on. Something's not hitting the computer. Maybe I didn't get the right one. Maybe I didn't get the one for Mac. Maybe I should have got a certain one. I don't know. It's starting to frustrate me. At the top of the hour. These things are not here and being told to you without reason. You're not learning all of this stuff without reason. Okay. The most powerful thing that I can learn and that I discovered for myself is the power of training your mind. And here it is. I'm talking to you guys about it, and I actually found the book on Force Yourself to Do Things. It talks about how the mind is adjusted to what it's adjusted to. And I said, and these are things I literally said. Okay. So therefore, you have to train the mind for the new you and the new person that you're going to be. So the body is used to, like I said, if you go out there and you jog and you walk, and then the body wants fast food, you have to be like, nope, we're not getting fast food. We're getting the salad. See what I'm saying? You have to train the body. You have to train your mind to make sure that we get salad or we eat a good full meal. Well, whether it's tea, whether it's whatever it is, we eat this, and this is what we eat, and then we go for a jog. Also have to train the mind. Okay, I'm taking on a new Japanese style, a new Asian style of a diet, right? Healthy diet, a lot of ramen, a lot of soups, a lot of stews, right? A lot of um, a lot of certain meats. And when I eat meats in the small portions, and I put them in my ramen. And now I'm also taking on a little bit of a vegan eating habit where I'm eating, say, seitan meat, and I'm making my own out of the organic flour or whatever. And this is how I eat. And I make it in different ways and flavors, and I eat it with my ramen. You see, you have to train the mind to understand, no, when we see this, we're doing it this way. That's a very powerful thing to learn. That's a very, very powerful thing to bring into your world, to bring into your life. So it's like the mind and the body, you see what I'm saying? Yo, nah, we're not going to do that. Our body is going to find something else to do to replace this thing that we're doing, or we're going to, no more smoking. No more smoking actual tobacco anymore. We're going to go ahead and we're going to vape. Okay, we are not in the times of the ancestors when they smoked straight tobacco and weed from off the plants. We're not in those times where they didn't have to deal with extra nicotine and all that stuff inside of it. We're not in those times. Okay, so for all the spiritual people out there, and so now, no, this ain't good for my health, because of my anger. This is why I smoke so much. Because of my anger, this is why I reward myself with alcohol, right? Or a martini or some wine or whatever. Okay, this is not healthy. Now, if I still drink wine, then let that be a choice that I do, but let this not be some kind, let it, it's okay if it calls for a celebration and I say, hey, let me enjoy myself with some wine and a nice meal. There's nothing wrong with that, right? But I'm stressed at work, let me go get some wine. I'm stressed at this, let me go smoke some more. All of this stuff has to be replaced. I have to train the brain. No, we're not doing this no more. Because it gets adjusted, right, to what it is, the pattern recognition that you have given it. Now, that sounds, as a lady would say, hocus pocus, right? But guess what? Hocus pocus is power. Hocus pocus is power, all right? And because of that, it gives you more self control, self realization, self actualization, and what's my favorite word? Self unfoldment. It gives you all of that when you can be strong enough to give yourself that. And then there's one that is awesome, okay? Awesome. How to talk to yourself. Don't say I'm lazy. Say I did my best. I did my best. See, don't say I'm lazy. I did my best. Really, that one I'm going to listen to again and start writing things down. I did my best, right? Just don't speak down about yourself. Like, we speak worse to ourselves than anybody else can speak to us. So we have to not do that to ourselves. Give more love, give more care to ourselves, embrace ourselves more. You see what I'm saying? That book was excellent. I kudos to that book. All right. So what was it? One more that I wanted to, Maston situation awareness. Let's jump into that one. So familiar. Write that down. Self val self now I'm writing it down. Self validation is knowing your worth. Let me write it down so I don't forget. And I'm writing in my journal very big. Please make sure you keep your handwriting as neat as you can, because trust me, when you think that you'll remember what you wrote, you won't. So always make your handwriting very neat. I've noticed people do that in journaling. I was like, okay, now I understand why they do that. I knew that commercial was gonna come on. One second. Monday been around for a very long time. I remember Monday when it was first. All of these apps I remember before AI got to them. They kind of was already AI. Yes. I can't type in the chat room, but meaningful goals are key. Okay. So a meaningful goal will mean whatever it is that your ultimate goal is that you are striving to be, or what you are but striving to be, right? Is you celebrate the wins inside of that. So you work a 9 to 5, and I don't know, you accomplish learning how to do something at work. Okay, awesome. That's good, awesome. But that's not a meaningful goal if what you did at work is not aligning with what it is that you're achieving for yourself. Meaningful goals apply to what you're achieving for yourself that applies to a meaningful goal. I got a certificate in learning how to weld. See, because construction is my goal. I want to have my own construction company, right? Or whatever that may be. So I've learned how to weld or welding. I got a certificate, I got a certification in that. I got a certification in knowing how to read blueprints, right? Because these meaningful goals are the steps that will take you. Like me, a meaningful goal for me would be, even if I get some kind of certification in English and grammar, like literally get some kind of certification in English and grammar will make me very happy because I am a writer. I need to learn my English and I need to learn my grammar, right? And then a meaningful goal for me will be getting a certification and uh knowing how to no, a meaningful goal for me will be understanding the dialogue, really learning how to write dialogue in a script, stuff like that. These are like meaningful goals. Like, okay, I finally get it, I know how to do it, this, that, and the third. That's just a little bit of what I said, but that's what it means. Let's go.
Validate yourself.
Engaging with content that aligns with your goals and value. I think that one can be hard because some content I'm like, okay, I actually like listening to it. It's entertaining. I get a key. It's very interesting to hear these people's perspective. But then I have to sit down with myself and say, because I know when I sit down today and do more journaling, right? Because I did get my sleep, y'all. By the way, I said I need to get sleep. I did get as much sleep as I could, and I got sleep. Now that I have got more sleep, I realized I realized that I have to sit down now and say what aligns with my goals, right? What aligns with what I'm doing? Because it's like an arrow. It's like, here's the ultimate goal. Here's an arrow to point to this goal. Remember the direction thing we talked about? And so here's an arrow to point to this goal. And so therefore, what is going to be aligned? How do I align life to what this goal is? I think I need to put this on top of the wood. And how do I align life to what this goal is? And so, therefore, I'm going to find that there's going to have to be a lot of things that's going to have to be negated, meaning that I can't even, you know how I said, you make certain channels for certain things and throwaway pages and all that kind of stuff because you're making the page for certain things. I think it's time to even let that go. I know I've been one to say, well, you just have a throwaway page and this, that, and third. I think I'm starting to let the idea of that go. You know what I mean? I feel like it's now like, no, if you're going to truly live in full absolute alignment, then to live in full absolute alignment requires that you're going to have everything aligned and put more work into being in alignment with what is your goal. You understand what I'm saying? You have no time for play. I mean, honestly, like it may be hard to accept that because some of you may be in the same boat that I'm in. You may have to put twice as much work in to get to that goal. I mean, literally, you may have to put twice as much work in to get to that goal. So, in order to put twice as much work in, you're going to have to negate. You're going to have to negate and do this inner work for yourself to get to where you need to be. As I talk to you, these are things that I'm doing in the now. Okay. As I speak to you, these are things that I am taking into practice. When I say you heard my pen. Okay. When I say I'm writing this down, I'm not just scrabble on the paper. I'll prove it to you. Practice self compassion strengthens your ability to validate yourself. Immerse yourself in the journey. Setting boundaries with others, i.e., overextending, because that stood out to me. Value dash not how much you give to others. Okay, your value is that. So that's what I wrote. Routine dash provide structure, just to prove to you I'm not playing. Engaging with content that aligns with goals and values. Goals and values. So values is also about how you live your life, your foundation, your spiritual foundation of your life, because that's key as well. So what aligns to your spiritual foundation too when you sit around and you have to do a full cleansing. It means that if you subscribe to things that just don't have anything to do with what you're doing, it has to go. I have to let go of all of this new stuff. Sometimes, okay, because I do this, sometimes I have to realize that, yes, I have to realize I have to look at some new stuff. But it's getting to a point where who are the only news people that I do want to listen to, that I care to listen to, and wean it down to that. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's going to take twice as much work. And there's a book on that too. 1 second. We're going to go to the book on standards. We are a little bit over the top of the hours. Less and understand more. Okay. After this one, how to raise your standards, let that play. I am going to show you the one about working twice as hard. Give me a second. Okay. I always do these surveys. Clinique. Look, I never heard of It Cosmetic. Who hasn't heard of Estee Lauder? But I haven't heard of Better Makeup, Idol, Found It Door, and Double A. I don't ever really know the title like that. But I do know these brands. I don't know what It Cosmetic is. CC Cream? Never heard of that one. I love the music. Whoa, whoa, that was that was a word. Gee, that was a word right there. I think we need to we got to hear those words again. Let's go. Look at that picture. That's awesome. The life will follow. Right. That subconscious mind at night ain't no joke, okay? That's why in the tarot nine of swords, they're covering their face. Hold on, y'all. Alarm going off. Another book. Another book going off. Okay, let me try that again. Take two. All right. This is why in the tarot nine of swords, it is somebody jilted out of their sleep with their hands over their face and swords around them because their subconscious mind is eating at them late at night. Okay? The nine of swords. Because the nine is the number of endings. So therefore, there's a lot of things in their life that needs to come to a close. Okay? There's a lot of things in their life that needs to that's not working for them or they're lying to themselves about. So that's where the lies are at. That them some of them lies are come to the forefront, all right? And you have to pay attention to what's happening to you at night, you know? So let's go back just the first line. All right. This made me think about something that I think is ultimately key. Um, you know how people, these women particularly, they have a standard of life. They say they have this standard of life, right? And then so from this standard of life that they have, they go, let me call into this show with this person, such as like Kevin Samuels, right? And she sits there with her standards, and then he just totally demolishes whatever standards that she has. Or she goes to certain shows, relationship shows, and this person completely demolished whatever standards that she has. Some women have gone completely on talk shows, publicly on TV, and they completely demolish whatever standards that she has. That person don't believe in their standards. When you have a standard, you just have a standard. It is your standard, and that's the standard that you stand on. Let me tell you something that I did, right? So, one time I sat here and wrote down everything of the standard of what I wanted for a relationship. Okay. And so, what had happened is I ended up doing the opposite, all because of my feelings. I was like, well, this person looks the opposite, but I feel this way, which is dangerous, right? And this is where now I have learned that you control how you want your mind to be. You be like, no, no, that's not the standard that I say. I don't care about feelings. I care about standards. I care about practicality. I care about what I see. I care about why my standards are the way that they are. I don't give a damn about writing down the things you don't like and you're going to attract it or whatever. Well, let me just tweak it and just put all the things down that I don't like. But it's still things that's gonna, you get what I'm saying? I think you get what I'm saying. So don't make that mistake. Stick to your standards. Okay. Now it goes on into the book before we get to the other one. It says stop pretending things are fine when they're not. That's the very first chapter. Ask yourself is this is Ask yourself is this is really what you want. Okay, that's the key thing. We're gonna get to that one next. What you avoid and deal with. Face what you avoid and deal with. Right. Walk away from people who ignore your growth. That is something that I had to learn how to do. That fake friendship. Stop making excuses for why you feel stuck. Decide to respect yourself in every situation. Yes. Stop breaking promises you make to yourself. That's I just said that. That's way down there. We're gonna get to that one. Start acting like you matter every single day. Let go of things you secretly resent holding. Okay. And choose discomfort now to avoid regret later. Right. Choose discomfort now to avoid regret later. We're going to get to, do we want to do ask yourself? Okay, let's do ask yourself if this is really what you want. We're going to tap into that one. Let's go. Yes. Then I don't know who writing this and putting it under all kind of names, but this whole channel has been the rawest audiobooks. And you know I have listened to a lot of audiobooks. But I have to say, besides the dark psychology, these books have been raw. I have not heard anyone write like this. Okay. Let's keep going for a little bit. All right. Y'all can get this book yourselves. Okay, it was one more chapter I want to tap in before we get to the next one. Face what you avoid. No, it was one saying to stick to your standards. It's not to respect yourself in every situation. Okay, stop breaking promises you make to yourself. Okay, let's go ahead and tap into this one a little bit. Commercial might come on because it's a yeah. Let's go back a little more. Let's go back a little bit more before we hit it. Okay, let's go. Sometimes it's hard to hit the exact point. Maybe now will work. Oh, that's why this part is off. That's why I keep slipping and sliding. If you want your life to improve, you have to improve how you treat yourself. Write that down. I gotta put a star next to that one. I gotta put that on the. I gotta put that on a sticky note on the window. Yes. When you live like you matter, you start keeping your promises to yourself. You stop wasting your time. Isn't that? There you go. There you go. Right with orange. Right. So this goes again. I don't give a damn if you live in Marcy projects right now, honey. Okay. This is something that Americans have to pay attention to with a lot of foreigners. I don't give a damn where a foreigner lives. I don't care how broken down and decrepit that neighborhood is or that home is. They know how to take care of their home. That's why I'm the way I am. They treat their home like it's a house. They don't have to be in a house to treat their house, their home like a house. Their home is their house. And I notice with Americans, Americans have a tendency to say, well, I live in this kind of apartment and I live in a project. So what I need to put curtains up for, what I need to put blinds up for, why I need to, if I'm going to do all this, I'm not, that's ignorant. That's fucking ignorant. Your home is your home and you should take care of what is your home. Your home is where you stay. Your home is where you nurture yourself. Your home is where you that's where your home is. So therefore you should take care of it. Don't let nobody make you feel no type of way about how you are taking care of your home and the standards that you have yours for yourself wherever you live. See, one thing I know, if I had a Caribbean neighbor right now, an Asian neighbor right now, they will be doing what I'm trying to do. Okay, which is build a garden in front of my home because I got this nigga bitch landlord now. Okay, so I gotta go to the head people and say, hey, I like to build a garden in front of my home and be like, whatever, right? But I shouldn't have to ask because other people do, but because of the situation, I gotta ask, okay, just to be careful because it's a new landlord, right? And I'm sure there's gonna be another new landlord soon. It is what it is. So here's the thing. I whatever your standard and your value of yourself is, your standard, your value, it is. It don't matter what you have. It don't matter. I don't care if you live in a, like I tell you all the time, I don't care if you live in a small Japanese apartment where your living room, your bedroom, and kitchen is all in one goddamn room, okay? And you have to hang your clothes out your window, okay? Or over wherever. It don't fucking matter. Your worth is what you are worth. Because guess what? As you raise your standards, your life is going to start raising as well. Because eventually you're going to build your life out of where you are. So you might live in that one bedroom apartment because, hey, you like to get you have enough money to afford it, but you also have time to get that passport and travel around the world like you want to. It's all about your purpose of staying where you're staying. So you have to look at that too. You have to look at the purpose of everything intentional. Like I said, everything. Like I said, you know, like it's saying, like when you begin to take yourself serious in a clear way, it's like you have an awareness and you might not have all the answers. And once you know why you're doing everything you're doing, you can't unknow it, right? Because once you know, you're just going to be moving. It ain't even going to be a question. You know what I'm saying? I just felt like I needed to, like, I had to put that out there because I feel like that is a hang up for a lot of people. You know, look what kind of car I got. Look what kind of, so fucking what? You have a car, you have a house. Do you not realize what you have? You know, you can beautify anything in your life, no matter where you are. You can beautify that bitch. If it's that bad and you know it, but see, this is the thing. This is where the standard and the self-worth thing comes in at. It may not be as bad as you think it is when you start doing that self-talk, you see, and loving on yourself more and building confidence, not in a delusional way, in a very honest, raw way, as the book is saying. Hold on. With this. There we go. That's why I love these books. Created an environment that reflects how you value yourself. Meaning, you're not putting furniture in your house for the sake of so nobody won't talk about you. You're not decorating for the sake of nobody talking about you. You're not cleaning your kitchen a certain way so nobody won't talk about you. No, you are cleaning and doing things for how you value yourself and what you value. It goes to my sister in that living room. She values cooking. She values being in line with being a chef, being a pastry chef, being a chef in general. And everything in her world is that. She loves her crime TV, as I can see her CS the see I can't even put her crime TV. I can see that. I can see she loves her TV shows from what the parents was watching when I before she was even thought of, like before she was ever thought of. And I'm just like, wow, this is what this little girl, this is what, she not a little girl, she a grown woman, but I'm just saying, because that's my little sister. This is what she values. You know what I'm saying? You can see that from the moment you walk through the door. You come into my home, you can just see that art, writing, uh, motivational quotes, whiteboards, cork boards, okay, is hanging around here. The artwork that I've done is hanging on the wall, all kind of stuff like that. This is what I value. This is what my life is. I value this. So is that type of thing. So yes. Yeah. Take your dreams seriously, especially ones that keep calling back. Okay? I told my story already. Now, almost forgot. Let's go ahead and bang it out with this one right here. Got caught up in that book because that book is really good. That book right there that we just listened to, it says raise your standards. That's why I gave y'all the book in the order that I did. When you're behind, it just means you have to run twice as fast, everybody. Right? I had a talk with myself. I had a serious talk with myself. And when I tell you it released so much out of my spirit, like I'm not making this up. That talk I had with myself, right? I started to realize that that's why I found these books the way that I did. And I just was like, I think I should share these books with everybody. Since I'm listening to these books, I should just share them. And I want y'all to know that that's not supposed to be the title, but um I'm not trying to put anything audiobook inside of the description. You get what I'm saying? But I will tell you can see what you can go to find these audiobooks, because if they're on YouTube, then it's okay for me to put them out there, right? So because the AI and stuff, it could be anybody, right? So, and a lot of these books have the same title, same description. I've been doing this audiobook thing for a little while now. And I can tell you something. There's going to be audiobooks that you may see on here that's played over and over and over for you because repetition is key. Okay? So, when I saw this one and I thought that cover was quite funny, and I like how you notice that there's like a running road in orange, right? And you can look at the artwork, and then there's a road going forward, but there's another road that can go up around that curve. So there's like three different directions than which this person can go. But I like it says when you're behind, it's supposed to be WHEN. Okay. Maybe that's on purpose, you know? When you're behind, run twice as fast. So let's look at the first bar, first sentence. Let's go. Come on, y'all. I mean, I get so many AI commercials because obviously I love AI. And so if I see something, I go use it and see how much I like it. Like I try out everything AI. That's why you see so much AI commercials on my algorithm. Just in case anybody's like, she always has a like you probably learned so much about AI just watching this because that's how much. Because I had used one of the AI apps yesterday, the base 44, and I made an app and I was like, okay, this is not bad. And then I kind of went away when they said I ran out my points or whatever. But I was like, I'll be back. You know what I'm saying? But the one that I like so far the most is LTX Studio. LTX Studio. I would love to be sponsored for AI apps and commercials and stuff. I would love it. I'm not gonna hold you. Let's go. Mhm. Right. And see here. Okay. So we got that part. All right. I think it's this one I wanted to play. Outwork everyone until you are ahead. This is like chapter 3. But let's go ahead and get a clip of this one. Let's go. Bars. Commercial about to come on. Okay, let's try to go back a little bit because I tell you, I try to get all the way into the chapter. Like, let's go because it's hard to just get to the right point. You have to understand, like, to me, to hear that your time is limited, that's another way of just telling you that you're gonna die. Okay, like just it's you have to understand you're going to die. I felt like I was going to die. Okay, death hit me in my Okay, so the microphone went out. 1 second, y'all. 1 second. I'm about to click the wrong button. Hold on, let me click the share button. You're gonna die. And I once again, I was laying, I was sick, and I felt like when I had COVID, I felt like I was gonna die. I felt like I was gonna die. Hold on, y'all. I gotta refresh something over here, okay? All righty. Let's get back to the screen share. I'm big. All right. Let's get to my favorite one, which is this one in the corner. Hold on. No, that's not the one. It's this one. All righty. Let's go ahead and we're gonna get to another chapter. That's what we was doing. Outwork everyone, right? Remove people and habits that's slowing you down. Say yes to challenges that go. Hold on, let me go ahead where outwork everyone.
You cannot add more hours to your life, but you can decide to stop throwing them away.
That's what I said. You can decide to stop throwing them away. So, goes back to the example that I said, right? You're like, because this is what it's saying to you. This is how much you have to think. The moment you say I'm behind, right? Like me, I can tell you straight up, everybody who is a screenwriter, who's doing all this, have gone to school for screenwriting, actually have invested into some kind of screenwriting school. It doesn't have to be the big schools. They invested. Anybody who's out there with their film or anything that's out there, whether it's a short film, movie, everybody that I see who are in film, the number one thing that I see is that they make a lot of short films. Okay, that's number one. Every last one of them have made short films. They have, not all of them, but I've noticed the one in the industry, they've gotten themselves through the door in their 20s and their 30s. They got a chance to work beside, be writing assistants, or work inside of an actual company, production room, stuff like that. The ones who are in the industry right now who are my age. The indie artists, I noticed that they have made films, they found actors, and they recycled their own actors within the industry, within the indie artist industry, right? And then it's categorized about even what kind of genre. I've noticed that people, there's also, I've also learned that this is what I see on a practical scale. Now, what do I see these people do? I learned that there's a lot of actors who come together. Speaking of that, there's a lot of actors who come together, who have actor meetings that also open doors for other actors to come act, such as screenwriters put these groups together to have actors come and act. And so this is how they find actors. They invite other screenwriters to come in to get these actors. So they always build a community. They join groups. They attend festivals and stuff like that, the basic stuff. Now, let's just get to the goal of this career. The key thing learning from Shonda and all these people is that they say you have to know how to write fast. You have to know how to change something fast, how to write fast. So, what does that tell me? I have to learn how to write better. I have to be what they say an excellent writer in the style that I can be an excellent writer. Okay. Everybody who's a writer, every screenwriter has a style. Aaron Sorkin writing is his writing because it sounds the way he talked. Shonda Rhimes writing is her writing because it sounds the way she talked. Evelina Waif writing is her writing because it sounds the way she talks, right? So that tells you that there's a voice, there's a signature to all of these writers writing. Okay. Even gosh, I forgot his name. He wrote the book. Trigger warning here is just the name of the book. It's called Kill the Dog. What is his name? What is that man's name? Right. So you have him, and he also looks at people's scripts and does his criticism and stuff like that as well. And you can pay him for that, right? And he tells you that he's brutally honest. And he did the show Leverage, which is like at part 2. But Leverage is really good. If you're gonna a good action film, Leverage is awesome. And there was one he did that was more kind of like for us 80 babies, like the 90s movies we watched with the magic and stuff like that. And that movie's pretty cool, but I just couldn't get into it. But it was pretty cool, the storyline and stuff. Okay, so basically these are the things that I see, and these are the things that I'm learning. What that means for someone as myself is that I can't really have time anymore. Like, I have to be honest with myself, right? And even the people that I know who are in the fashion industry, and they have their fashion business going on. People who I know who are actors and they got their acting careers going on, right? These people have been doing this shit since they've been in their 20s. Okay. So that means that I fall a bit behind. But have I wrote? Yes. Have I read books on writing? Yes. I have books here on writing. So I'm gonna have to pick those books back up again, right? Have I had time that I have wasted? Yes, I have to admit that I have wasted my time. Okay. So I have to make up for the time that I lost. See how that happens? I'm just showing me as the example for you. I have to make up for the time that I lost. Have I spent more time trying to focus on radio stuff over the stuff that I need to focus on for me? See, I like doing this because in this space, I can just play an audio book, take notes, pause, do a study with me. You don't have to see me. You could do study with me. I can explain to you that some things might be rewinded or whatever you're listening to. Study with me, right? So it's that type of thing where I could take you along with me. And that's not, and if I choose to respond to text messages, I choose. But this is how I spend my time, as long as the time has purpose of why I'm doing it, right? How do I also make up for lost time? It also comes into the matter of accepting that I have lost time. Okay. The beauty is that I'm 40. And the beauty that I'm in my 40s. And so that means I'm still young, right? I had my 20s, I did things. I had my 30s, I did things. I had my mistakes I made in my 20s. Haven't we all? We don't even count our 20s, right? But we count what we learn in our 20s, right? I have my mistakes I made in my 30s, right? And the things I've done in my 20s. And I have things I've accomplished in my 30s. I have to celebrate my wins. I have some things I've really accomplished in my 30s, things about myself that I've accomplished about myself in my 30s that I'm very proud of, right? So I do count for those things as well. So now sitting now in my 40s, what am I doing? I have to make up for lost time. What does making up for lost time look like? That's why I got to go journal. That's why I got to write these things down. That's why I have to start being brutally honest with myself. So it may take me to go hard and study character, dialogue, right? Story. What is story? Understanding truly what is a story, right? Understanding the story that I'm writing or whatever I'm putting together, whatever film I'm putting together, right? uh understanding the business of this. So the basic things, that's the hard, tedious work that I have to do, is getting into the very simple basics of learning the craft of what I'm doing, learning the history of what I'm doing. This is how I make up for lost time, right? Invest into myself. So I took a screenwriting course class with somebody, and though it was very basic, I learned a lot. Why did I learn a lot? Because this person invested thousands to go to writing school for screenwriting school, right? Another person who I see has a huge resume in the indie film industry is also hosting a screenwriting class. So I go to that. So I take advantage of the little things because these things are not wasting my time. So now you ask yourself, what is going to be purposeful? Even if having a relationship, what is the purpose and value in a relationship? The relationship is helping me. The relationship is my support system. The relationship is whatever else I say my relationship is, right? So that also plays a part in how I'm making up for lost time. How else am I making up for lost time? My health, right? My mind, everything I do in my time in my home, how I value myself, my self-respect. All of this is all making up for lost time. So if I find myself going through certain situations and stuff like that, now I have to build something, build some assertiveness, build something in my life where I don't have to keep attracting or going through these type of things, because again, in my mind, I'm making up for lost time. So when your mind goes into a place of I'm making up for lost time, yes, I'm still young, but I'm still making up for lost time. That lost time is going to put work in to make up for. And I have to make up for lost time on many other scales of my life. It's not just me. It's other things. Lost time and feeling the way I feel about myself. Lost time and trying to get myself validated outside of myself. Lost time for all of these things that fall into lost time for feeling not worthy of the things that I had when I very much was worthy of it. That's all lost time. So you have to pick yourself up again and just do the steps of the book as it mentions, and I'm sure it will be very helpful. But this book definitely is going to be one that we're going to be listening to. So, but you have to outwork everyone until you're ahead. Okay, we don't have to do remove people and habits. We know. Say yes to challenges that face growth. So let's tap into this one. Let's go. Commercial gonna come on. Y'all already know.
Meet Squibbler, the AI writer that transforms your ideas into fully developed chapters, with pre-made templates for all genres.
To please everyone, you are making them to protect your progress. You might also feel a sense of loss when you let go of certain people or habits. That's natural. Change often feels like loss at first, but what you gain from these decisions will far outweigh what you lose. You gain time, you gain focus, you gain energy, you gain the ability to move faster toward your goals without unnecessary weight holding you back. Once you made these changes, you'll notice how much lighter you feel. You'll see how much faster you can move when you're not constantly being pulled in the wrong direction. You'll have more hours in your day and more energy to put into the work that matters. And the people who remain in your life will be the ones who want to see you succeed. It's important to remember that this is not a one-time process. As you grow, you will continue to identify people and habits that no longer align with your direction. You'll need to make adjustments along the way. The higher you aim, the more you'll have to protect your environment. Every new level requires a new stand. Removing what slows you down is not just about moving faster. It's about making sure every step you take is in the right direction. You can work as hard as you want, but if you're surrounded by the wrong influences or stuck in the wrong habits, you'll waste effort. By clearing those obstacles, you make sure your work pays off. In the end, it comes down to one question. Do you want to move forward badly enough to make the hard choices?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, then you already know what to do. Identify the people and habits that are keeping you from making the progress you need. Create distance where you must. Replace old patterns with new productive ones. Keep your environment clean and your focus sharp. You started late, you cannot afford to carry anything that slows you down. The sooner you make these changes, the sooner you'll feel difference, and once you feel that difference, you'll never go back to letting the wrong people and the wrong habits hold you back again. Chapter 5. Say yes to challenges that force you to grow quickly. Growth does not come from doing what you already know how to do. It comes from stepping into situations that stretch you, test you, and demand more from you than you have given before. The people who advance quickly are not the ones who wait for the perfect moment or the safe opportunity. They are the ones who step up when a challenge presents itself, even if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. If you've started late and you're serious about catching up, you cannot afford to hide from challenges. You have to say yes to the ones that will force you to grow faster than you would on your own. Many people hesitate when faced with a challenge because they're worried about failure. They think about all the ways it could go wrong before they think about what they could gain.
Yes.
That hesitation keeps them in the same place. They stick to what they already skills never expand. But challenges are not just obstacles, they are opportunities in disguise. Every challenge that pushes you beyond your current limits builds a version of you that is stronger, sharper, and more capable. When you say yes to a challenge, you're saying yes to growth that can't be achieved through comfort. You're agreeing to face the pressure that forces you to adapt. You're accepting that you will have to think differently, work harder, and commit more deeply. And in doing so, you develop the kind of resilience and confidence that makes you unstoppable in the long run. It's important to understand that the challenges worth taking will rarely feel convenient. They will often show up at the wrong time. They will demand energy you think you don't have. They will require sacrifices you didn't plan for. But that's exactly why they're powerful, because they pull you out of your normal rhythm and force you to operate at higher level. Think about the moments in your life when you grew the most. Chances are those moments were not easy. They likely involved stepping into unfamiliar territory, facing situations you weren't fully prepared for, figuring things out along the way. That's the essence of rapid growth. You cannot replicate it by staying in a safe routine.
Ooh, shank it.
Who are you?
Do you see that Koopa logo on your shirt?
Yeah?
That's me. I'm like a performance enhancer.
Yeah, I don't use performance enhancers.
Oh, no, like that. I'm the AI agent in Koopa's total to reduce costs, minimize risks, and increase profits. That's a long way of saying Koopa helps you mind your business. And maybe I can help with
I like that blue.
your business. Starts in the shoulders. It's all in the hips. Slow down. It's all in
All right.
I'm dead. Master every dollar like a pro. I have no clue what this commercial is, but that was hilarious.
Saying
Oh, y'all.
yes to challenges.
Okay. And let me tell you, when I tell you that I go to these screenwriting courses and classes by these different people, that's a challenge for me. You know why? Trusting people, sharing my work with people, because I've been in spaces where so much of my stuff and me and stuff has been stolen from, right? But I also have to realize about my alignment, my self-worth, and all these things, because you have to start digging into all of that to let all that stuff go, you see? And so that's what I had to do. So that was a big step for me to go into a space like that, or to go to any spaces like that and to do that. Okay. So you know what is steps for you. You know what I'm saying? Okay, here's the next part that I really want everyone to listen to. It's called Learn from Those Ahead and Act Immediately. See, so that's the one I was just literally just talking about.
Try again with more insight. It strips away the fear of failing because you've already faced it and kept moving. When you're trying to catch up, you need that resilience. You don't have time to recover slowly from every setback. You need to bounce back quickly and keep pushing forward. Challenges train you to do exactly that. Over time, as you keep saying yes to the right challenges, you'll notice that your pace of improvement accelerates. Things that once felt overwhelming will feel manageable. Goals that seemed far away will start coming into reach, and eventually you will look back and realize that the gap between where you were and where you wanted to be has closed significantly. That progress will not come from it safe. It will not come from waiting until you feel comfortable. It will come from saying yes to the moments that scare you a little, that make you uncertain, that force you to step into the unknown. Those are the moments that form you. If you want to stop feeling behind, you must be willing to grow faster than you thought possible. Challenges are the fastest path to that growth. Every time you choose over comfort, you push yourself closer to the person you're capable of becoming. And when the next challenge comes, you won't hesitate. You'll remember all the times you said yes before, and how each one moved you forward. You'll know that the discomfort is temporary, but the growth is permanent. And that will be all the reason you need to step forward, once again, ready to prove to yourself that you can rise higher than you ever imagined.
Chapter 6. Learn from those ahead and act on it immediately. If you want to move faster toward your goals, you have to shorten the learning curve. You can spend years figuring things out on your own, or you can look to those who are already where you want to be and study exactly what they've done. Learning from people ahead of you is one of the fastest ways to close the gap. But learning alone is not enough. You have to take what you learn and put it into action right away. If you delay, the lesson fades, the urgency disappears, and the advantage is lost. The people ahead of you didn't get there by accident. They made decisions, built habits, and developed skills that worked. They've already faced problems you haven't encountered yet. They've already made mistakes you could avoid. By studying their path, you can bypass years of trial and error. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You have to understand how they turned it. The challenge is that many people admire those ahead of them, but never go deeper than admiration. They watch from distance, maybe get inspired, and then go right back to their old ways. They treat successful people like entertainment instead of education. But if you're serious about catching up, you have to study them like your future, because it does. Start being who is ahead of you in the area you care about. Don't limit yourself to one person. Look at multiple examples so you can see different ways to succeed. Pay attention not only to what they do, but to how they think. The mindset behind the action is just as important as the action itself. Once you know who to learn from, immerse yourself in their work. Read their books, listen to their talks, study their routines. Pay attention to the small decisions they make daily. Look for patterns in how they approach challenges. See how they use their time, how they prioritize, how they deal with setbacks. These details are the blueprint you're after. But here's where most people fail. They collect information, never use it. They treat learning as if it's the same thing as improving. It's not. You could spend a year learning strategies, but if you never apply them, your life will stay exactly the same. The point of learning is to improve results, not to feel informed. When you learn something valuable from someone ahead of you, act on it immediately. Test it in your own life. Adjust it to fit your situation. See if it works for you. Action turns information into progress. Without action, all you have is knowledge sitting unused in your head. Don't fall
I think it's about to be a commercial.
Meet the data AI assistant. Think it's just another
I was
chatbot?
writing down
Think
notes.
again. Ask, explore, or build this intuitive natural language interface. Powered by a semantic layer, every response is
This
context.
falls again into what and something else I gotta say. What happened? Okay.
Don't fall into the trap of thinking you need to master the idea before you try it. The fastest learning comes from applying as you go. You'll refine your understanding through use, not through endless study. Waiting until you feel ready is just another form of procrastination. You also have to be humble enough to accept that you don't know everything yet. Pride keeps a lot of people from learning from others. They want to believe they can figure it all out on their own. But if you've started late, you don't have the luxury of learning only from your own experience. You need to borrow the lessons from people who have already walked the road. This doesn't mean you copy them exactly. Your life, your strengths, and your goals are unique, but you can adapt their strategies to fit your circumstances that work for them and make them work for you. Innovation often comes from combining proven methods with your own approach. Another important part of learning from those ahead is to watch how they handle failure. Many people only focus on someone's success and miss the lessons in their struggles. But the way they recovered from setbacks, the changes they made after mistakes, and the resilience they built are all part of what got them ahead. If you understand how they navigated hard times, you'll be better prepared for your own. Be careful not to get stuck in comparison while learning from others. You're not starting to feel worse about where you are. You're studying them to close the gap. If you focus too much on how far ahead they are, you'll feel discouraged. Focus instead on what specific actions they took to get there. Those actions are what you can use to move forward faster. Sometimes the best lessons will come from direct contact. If you can connect with those ahead of you, ask thoughtful questions. Show genuine interest in their journey. Many successful people are willing to share advice if they see that you're serious about applying it. But respect their time. Don't ask for things you could easily learn on your own. Use your conversations to go deeper than what's already public. You may also need to invest in access. That could mean paying for courses, events, or joining communities where people ahead of you gather. The cost might feel uncomfortable at first, but the time you save and the mistakes you avoid can make it worth it many times over. If you view it as an investment in speed and efficiency, it becomes much easier to justify. Once you've learned from someone ahead, track your results after applying what you've learned. Are you seeing progress? Are things getting easier, faster, or more effective? If not, go back and adjust. Sometimes you'll need to fine-tune the method to fit your exact situation. The willingness to adapt is just as a willingness to learn. Over time, this approach will create a snowball effect. The more you learn and act, the faster you improve. The faster you improve, the closer you get to those you once admired from distance, and eventually you'll find yourself in a position where others start looking to you for guidance. That's when you'll see the full value of learning from those ahead. You're not just catching up, you're building a foundation that allows you to keep moving forward at a high level. You'll have skills, insights, and habits that will serve you for the rest of your life. But none of that happens if you treat learning as a passive activity. You have to approach it with urgency. You have to see it as the shortcut it is. Every day you wait to apply what you've learned is a day you stay behind. And when you've started late, every day matters. So find the people ahead of you, study them with focus. Take the best of what they've learned and put it into action immediately. Let your results guide your adjustment. Keep repeating the cycle: learn, act, refine. If you do this consistently, you will not only catch up,
that you'll develop the ability to keep pace with any your field. When you see someone ahead of you, don't just admire them, use them as a source of acceleration. They've already paid the price to learn the lessons. Your job is to take those lessons and use them faster than they did. That is how you make up for lost time. That is how you stop feeling behind, and that is how you put yourself in a position where one day someone will be looking at you as the person to learn from.
Chapter 7. Refuse to slow down when you start feeling.
Okay, refuse to slow down, right? This made me think about even Carmichael, okay? Okay, that made me think about even Carmichael, okay? This commercial gonna come up next because it's kind of hard.
You scream makes me feel like I'm the most techie person on the planet because I can do everything. When I first started, I was like,
anybody who ever watched him,
and
I
when that
watched him
happens,
for a while,
catching up and moving ahead.
Okay. Even Carmichael, for a long time, he had all of these quotes, right? And from all of these successful people. Quotes from all these successful people, even Carmichael. I'll never forget it. And he was just like this skinny, scrawny looking guy, you know. At the time he had hair, okay? He had like a hair. I can't remember how his hair was, but he did have hair because he's like, he looks East Indian. He has jet black hair. And as time went on, he started, like you could see that he was applying everything to his life because he started just like all of these 10 successful quotes. And then, you know, he started applying all of it. And as he started applying it, it turns into 20 successful quotes from these different people. So check out even Carmichael. So in time, he started interviewing people. Like he literally started being around these people and interviewing these people. But what I started noticing when he interviewed those people, he cut off all his hair. Remember, I told you hair represents time. Not only did he cut off all his hair, he started working out. You could see that it's like his workout game was just like out of nowhere. He was just like buff. Like you could see he was starting to work out. You could see the changes. You could see he was taking care of his skin better. You could see that he started applying everything that he was learning from all of these people. So if you look at even Carmichael now, it's been a while since I've seen him. I'm sure I think he's like a dad now. He got married. I think he kind of just like went all the way in, you know, into his life. But that is an example of the people I was watching. And then see, this is where I realized that I was doing my path properly. I got distracted on my path, right? And this is where the inner work and the therapy and all this stuff begins to come into my world, into my life, where the self-sabotaging and all that stuff comes in. So I have to make up time for the self-sabotaging. How many times have I sat here with you all and said, you know, spend time with the person? You understand what I'm saying? Learn from the person. But see, I got some tips from just watching here about studying them to close the gap. Never thought about it that way. So that's something new for me. You're studying them to close the gap, to move time faster. And it's like, whoever's writing this is beautiful. Kudos to you. You're a good writer. You're a very good teacher as well. Who knows? You could be, it could be a whole celebrity writing this book. We don't know. Do what others avoid, get results faster. So let's we get back to that. Let's go.
Because your entire day is designed for progress. The bottom line is this: you can't afford to let your days be filled with anything that doesn't contribute to your growth. Every day you waste is a day you can't get back, but every day you fill with meaningful action gets you closer to the life you want. When you look at your day, you should be able to point to specific actions and say, that moved me forward. If you can't, something has to change. Make this your standard. Every day, take actions that have a clear link to your goals. Protect your time from distraction. Chapter 9.
Do what others avoid if it gets you results faster. If you want to gain ground quickly, you have to be willing to step in the spaces that most people avoid. The reason so many remain stuck is not because they lack talent or potential, but because they consistently choose the path that feels safe and easy. They dodge the difficult conversations, pass on the uncomfortable work, and shy away from the high-pressure situations that push them ahead. But if you're determined to catch up and move past where you are now, you can't follow that same pattern. You have to be the person who says yes to the things that scare others, the things that feel certain, the things that require more courage than comfort. The truth is, the work most people avoid is often the work that produces the fastest results. That's because the competition is thinner in those areas. Everyone is fighting for the easy wins. Few are willing to show up for the demanding challenges, so when you do, you immediately stand out. You face less crowding, less noise, and more opportunity to prove yourself. But that means pushing yourself to do what doesn't come naturally, and that's where most stop. There are certain tasks that nearly everyone resists. Cold calls, looking for better deals, taking on roles, handling complex projects with no clear path, or confronting problems head-on instead of dancing around them. These are uncomfortable for a reason. They expose you. They put you in situations where you might fail. They require you to show initiative instead of waiting for someone else to make the move. But precisely because they're challenging, they're valuable. They get noticed. They get remembered. They often deliver results in a fraction of the time it takes to achieve the same outcome through the safer route. If you've started late, you can't afford to spend years circling around the easy options. You need results now, and that means leaning into the work others pass up. The hard truth is that you will have to put yourself in situations where you're not entirely sure what you're doing, but you're willing to figure it out as you go. That's how you build speed. That's how you compress time. Doing what others avoid is not about recklessness. It's about calculated discomfort.
I just made a $27 ebook in 2 minutes using AI. Watch how I did it so you can do it too. Here I am in Designer, and the first thing you'll notice is this clean, user-friendly interface. Now watch closely. I'm clicking Create New Project and selecting Word Genie. This is where the magic happens. All I need to do is type in a topic. Let's go with social media marketing tips.
Jeez.
You assess the opportunity, see its value, and choose to step in even though it's outside your comfort zone. This is very different from just taking risks for the sake of risk. The goal is always if that route requires more personal challenge than you'd like. One of the biggest benefits of doing what others avoid is the confidence it builds. When you step into these situations repeatedly, you start to see that you can handle far more than you thought. You develop a reputation, not just with others, but with yourself as someone who will show up and get it done, no matter how uncomfortable it is. That self-trust is invaluable. It changes the way you see challenges. Instead of shrinking from them, you begin to seek them out, knowing they carry your next leap forward. The reason so many avoid this kind of work is because it often comes with short-term pain. You might face rejection. You might feel awkward. You might get criticism. But the long-term payoff dwarfs that discomfort.
One thing Lena said was, and I gotta listen to that chapter again. I gotta really listen to that. Lena said that to just build, don't look for outside validation. She said, do not look for someone to tell you yes for your script. Okay. She said that you have to make it happen for yourself. Like, and even this someone in the industry, all this kind of stuff, she said, you got to make it happen for yourself. Also, you will notice that Lena is talking to the greats. She is sitting down, like it's deep because she's sitting down with people who are being interviewed that will not be here probably between now to next year and years to come. But that's going to live on, that she talked to those people, and she can always go back and refer to what was said. We can all go back to refer to what was said to still learn something. She picked up people that I don't see be interviewed like that. I don't see get interviewed on a personal level like that. They're always interviewed in a way where they're laughing, they're joking, they're in their character. They're never really all the way interviewed like that. So that's the beauty of what she does. What else was I saying here? Hold on. This is the one I have to listen to again because it was saying, hold on, let me go to the very beginning again. Let me just hit the beginning.
And when that happens, catching up and moving ahead becomes natural because your entire
let's go back just a little bit.
And when that happens, catching up and moving ahead becomes natural because your entire day is designed for progress. The bottom line is this: you can't afford to let your days be filled with anything that doesn't contribute to your growth. Every day you waste is a day you can't get back, but every day you fill with meaningful action gets you closer to the life you want. When you look at your day, you should be able to point to specific actions and say, that moved me forward. If you can't, something has to change. Make this your standard. Every day, take actions that have a clear link to your goals. Protect your time from distraction. Chapter 9.
So you're already using ChatGPT, and while that's awesome, there is one little problem. You're not making any money.
Do what others avoid if it gets you results faster. If you want to gain ground quickly, you have to be willing to step into the spaces that most people avoid. The reason so many remain stuck is not because they lack talent or potential, but because they consistently choose the path that feels safe.
Got it. Do what others avoid. The others is not the people that, okay, that's what I got confused about. Like, are we talking about the people that we're watching? No, we're talking about people in this world. Okay, so you have to do what others avoid. Now let's just get to the gist of everything, right? There's a lot of people who will not invest. There's a lot of people who would not invest into themselves, okay? And we're not talking about them. We're talking about what it's saying here, right? Now, I have bought books to teach myself grammar and becoming a better writer, right? And I have to pick those books back up again. But I have to actually get books and teach myself grammar, writing lessons, and stuff like that. I have to teach myself screenwriting basics. I know them, but I have to really teach myself screenwriting basics. If I can invest into a screenwriting course, that's what I'm going to have to do, right? These investments, right? These simple investments, like I don't like going to an actual screenwriting school at this point right here, at this time of my life, it's a no way, no, right? But actually taking a screenwriting course is what I can do, you see? So that still is going to move me ahead, right? I already know how to write, but I have to become a better writer than the writer that I have been, right? So I have to become a better writer in the genre of fiction, right? And it doesn't matter. I was writing romance and all this other stuff, but it doesn't matter. I still have to become a better writer. I still have steps ahead because I am a writer, right? I do have steps ahead because I do understand genre writing and books and stuff like that. But what I have to do now is to become a better writer, meaning I have to learn my grammar and this and that. I have to take time to put the work in to learn these things. There are plenty of videos, lessons, teachers on YouTube. This is what he's talking about too. Like whatever type of work that it takes to get you to move ahead, that's what you got to do. Take notes, put it in your face, whatever it takes. But at the end of the day, I am still a writer. I am still a creator. I do know how to outline. I do know how to write beats. You see what I'm saying? And even if I have to go back and teach myself again, but it's still making up for the time, right? So it's like everything has to be with purpose. And so depending how hard you want what you want, there's a lot of things that's going to be negated. That means that the money spending, right? The eating out, the, whatever, like, what is the purpose of this? What is the purpose of this? Because now it turns into, what am I putting in my body? Because I need to have time to move. I need to have time to have energy for this. Okay, what time do I need to sleep? I need to make sure I get the proper sleep. So when I sleep properly, then I could get up and I could do this work and I could be consistent. I need to have a day, because it's still about your time. I need to have a day where I have a day of rest. But what am I doing in this day of rest? Self-care day. So it's all about, it's all still not that you don't have, like, you can't get to your goal. It's still, you still have to do the self-care. That's what it's saying too. But you still have to realize that, does it all have a purpose? When you're doing that self-care, when you're doing your body washing routine, you know what I'm saying? When you're fixing your hair and all this stuff, does it all line up with the goal? Okay, of course it does. You know what I'm saying? You think of how your mind has to think. So when you work your 9 to 5, it's like, well, when I don't have really, like, what's my goal here? You see what I'm saying? Do I really have goals here? And does this goal line up with the ultimate goal that I have? So it's like, now I'm starting to realize that completing things and helping coworkers and all that stuff, this is external validation. You see what I'm saying? That's all external validation. So then boom, that's going to stop, right? Because I'm going there to put in the work, to put in the hours, to make the money, to make my check. What is this check being invested into? Pay my bills. What else is this? Save money. You see, that's where the mindset has to go when I walk into my job now. I come in here to make my money. I'm coming here. If I want a raise, I just want that raise to make my money. Okay. I'm not seeking no position. I'm not seeking none of that, because if I get this extra position, that's extra responsibility. Do I even want that responsibility? You see, because what is worth my time? So you have to look at it like that. That's what this book is trying to say. Like, is it worth your time to get this position? And how much time is this position going to take away for what it is that you're aiming to do? This is what it's saying. So, but see, I had to realize the external validation that I've been doing while I've been there, all a part of my mother womb and all this kind of stuff, and the abandonment issues and all this stuff that goes in there. Now I had to tap into that and realize where it's showing up at work, where it's showing up in codependency, where it's showing up. So now I can get back to my life by identifying it, because it's not going to be easy, but I can identify it and build more awareness to it. I can also pick up more books about codependency. I can also pick up more of the books about self-love, how to talk to yourself and stuff like that. Books that, mother wombs, like that, touching into all of these spaces that I don't want to touch in order to, because these are the uncomfortable things. This, believe it or not, that's uncomfortable for me to read a book on seek the love that you want to be, right? I have that book is just sitting there. I think I probably listened to a sample and I didn't even listen to the book, right? And I just was ready for the book, right? So, codependency, I couldn't fully listen to that book. These are uncomfortable things for me. So I have to now do the uncomfortable things to do the internal work to get myself moving faster, because I'm behind. Now, I know I just said, well, you just said that you're 40 years old, you're still young, but I'm behind. You know why I'm behind? Because when I was in my late 20s, I had this knowledge and information. When I was younger than that, I was around people like this. I had access to film and all these kind of things. I lived in the film capital, the media capital, for goodness sake. I had access to these things, right? And this is not going into a place of regret or nothing like that. I was around people like this. And I made the choices I made in my life. I self-sabotaged in my life. But there's also points of my life where I give myself the credit for things that I did do and complete. I give myself the credit for getting up and taking the time to do these things. I give myself the credit for what it is that I did do with my time. You understand? So therefore, one thing I can do is I still have tools. Remember, it's still tools, but now I have to still build my toolbox more. I have to add more tools. Learn how to get my grammar together. Learn how to write better. Right? Learn the craftsmanship of storytelling. What is the principles of storytelling? Read Aristotle. Why is this philosopher's information and book so important for me to read? Read Aristotle. All of these different things that is ultimately key. There's going to be times I'm going to have to go back and listen to my own show, and I'm going to have to look how I talk to y'all. What things do I constantly repeat myself doing? Little things like that. Am I too loud? Am I yelling too much? Am I apologizing too much? These are things I'm going to have to start looking at just for self-assessments when I talk to you guys too. But it's only the beginning, because it is an awareness, right? So let me see what else is going on here.
Safe and easy. They dodge the difficult conversations, pass on the uncomfortable work, and shy away from the high-pressure situations that could push them ahead. But if you're determined to catch up and move past where you are now, you can't follow that same pattern. You have to be the person who says yes to the things that scare others, the things that feel uncertain, the things that require more courage than comfort. The truth is, the work most people avoid is often the work that produces the fastest results. That's because the competition is thinner in those areas. Everyone is fighting for the easy wins. Few are willing to show up for the demanding challenges, so when you do, you immediately stand out. You face less crowding, less noise, and more opportunity to prove yourself. But that means pushing yourself to do what doesn't come naturally, and that's where most stop. There are certain tasks that nearly everyone resists. Cold calls, negotiating for better deals, taking on public roles, handling complex projects with no clear path, or confronting problems head-on instead of dancing around them. These are uncomfortable for a reason. They expose you. They put you in situations where you might fail. They require you to show initiative instead of waiting for someone else to make the move. But precisely because they're challenging, they're valuable. They get noticed. They get remembered. They often deliver results in a fraction of the time it takes to achieve the same outcome through the safer route. If you've started to spend years sailing around the easy option, you need results now, and that means leaning into the work others pass up. The hard truth is that you will have to put yourself in situations where you're not entirely sure what you're doing, but you're willing to figure it out as you go. That's how you build speed. That's how you compress time. Doing what others avoid is not about recklessness. It's about calculated discomfort. You assess the opportunity, see its value, and choose to step in even though it's outside your comfort zone. This is very different from just taking risks for the sake of risk. The goal is always to find the most direct, effective route to your result, even if that route requires more personal challenge than you'd like. One of the biggest benefits of doing what others avoid is the confidence it builds. When you step into these situations repeatedly, you start to see that you can handle far more than you thought. You develop a reputation, not just with others, but yourself as someone who will show up and get it done, no matter how uncomfortable it is. That self-trust is invaluable. It changes the way you see challenges. Instead of shrinking from them, you begin to seek them out, knowing they carry your next leap forward. The reason so many avoid this kind of work is because it often comes with short-term pain. You might face rejection. You might feel awkward, you might get criticism, but the long-term payoff dwarfs that discomfort. Those rejections teach you resilience. That awkwardness makes the next attempt easier. That criticism sharpens your skill. Every time you step into these avoided spaces, cases, you come out stronger and better prepared. It's also worth noting that many of the avoided actions are simply unfamiliar. People resist what they don't understand. Once you do it a few times, the fear shrinks dramatically. What once felt intimidating starts to feel like just another part of your skill set. That's when you gain a huge advantage, because while others are still hesitating, you're already moving forward without hesitation. To make this approach work, you have to train yourself to recognize when you're avoiding something important. Pay attention to the tasks you keep pushing to the bottom of your list, the opportunities you keep talking yourself out of, the conversations you keep postponing. Ask yourself, am I avoiding this because it's truly not worth my time, or because it's uncomfortable? If it's uncomfortable but valuable, that's your signal to do it now, not later. Another way to think about it is to ask, if I did this today, would it move me forward faster than anything else I could do? If the answer is yes, then avoiding it is costing you speed. You might not feel that cost immediately, but over time it's the difference between staying stuck and leaping ahead.
Okay, so Shonda Rhimes has a Year of Yes tour that's going on right now, right? And I had asked myself, I was like, okay, here, you know, is it important for me to go to the Year of Yes tour? And
watch me make a pitch deck in less than 60 seconds. First, I pick a template from Beautiful AI. They have hundreds of options that are all professionally designed with AI smart slides.
Let me see.
You can also use their AI presentation maker to get a draft instantly. Just enter whatever it is you're working on and watch it generate a compelling presentation of AI smart slides. So much
oh, I like that. Let me click on that. I know I am AI'd out. Okay, it is what it is. Okay, they grabbed my attention. I didn't even know that existed. I mean, how many times am I gonna keep saying that? All right, so I'm gonna find every AI over here with me. Okay, so why didn't I go to the Shonda Rhimes Year? Yes. Well, first of all, I'd rather be somewhere with her teaching, teaching, what's the name? Which meaning teaching something on screenwriting, something on the 5 Acts, which is masterclass.com where I go to find that. The Year Yes is going to be on the screen. So it's not worth it of me trying to put that kind of work in to go to the Year Yes all the way in another state, right? So that's why it's not worth my time. But what is worth my time, right, is what I'm doing now, which is I can take the time to listen to Shonda Rhimes. I can go listen to all her interviews. I've listened to most of them, but listen to all her interviews about her shows and her whatever, just for the sake of, but a lot of times I don't have to, because the master class is enough for me, because the master class is like an actual classroom, and being in her classroom, I can just always go back to that, right? There's no way to just say how to do this. You'll just know what is worth your time and what's not worth your time anymore as time goes on. Okay? You'll know what needs to be negated and what needs to be thrown away as time goes on. It's okay for me to sit here and talk because there's things I'm doing in the background. You know what I'm saying? It's okay for me to do this because I'm still making time for whatever time that I'm doing something, you know? And you have to take your time as you learn what your time is worth. You know what I'm saying? You know, at the end of the day, everybody, like, kudos to yourself. And I mean that from my heart. Kudos to yourself for having this awareness. Kudos to yourself for even recognizing that something is wrong and you want something more in your life. Kudos to yourself for even having the awareness of, I'm not watching anything that does not have purpose. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to yourself for that too. Like, you're coming into this revelations within, like, what reason All these people that's watching Love and Hip Hop, what purpose does it serve to watch this shit, to watch somebody else's life and to criticize and judge somebody else's life? And it's like, well, what the fuck are you doing with your life? Besides sitting here and talking about this all day in detail at that, like in detail, talking about somebody else's life. And what does it benefit to you? You know what I'm saying? So it's like all of these different little teeny tiny intricate things that I feel is very key and important to pay attention to as you listen to these books and take notes. You know what I'm saying? And look at all my AI commercials that I keep clicking on. I like the pitch deck presentation.
This mindset also means not waiting for permission. The work others avoid often has no one handing out invitations. You have to step forward yourself. You have to decide you're going to take ownership of it. This initiative alone will set you apart in a world where most people are waiting for someone else to give them a green light. Another advantage is by doing what others avoid, you gain unique experience. You learn things no one else around you is learning. You develop skills that few others have. These become part of your personal advantage, allowing you to solve problems others can't and see opportunities others miss. This is how you start to operate on a different level entirely. But this only works if you're consistent. Doing one uncomfortable thing won't change much if you go right back to avoiding them. You have to build it into your normal approach. Each week, deliberately choose a task or opportunity you would normally avoid and tackle it head on. Over time, this becomes a habit. And when it's a habit, the amount of progress you make in a short time will surprise you. The interesting thing is that while others are avoiding the tough work because they think it's too risky, the bigger risk is in avoiding it. Playing it safe often means moving so slowly that you never reach your destination. The people who make big leaps in their careers, businesses, or personal growth are the ones who are willing to get uncomfortable repeatedly. They take the opportunities that others let slip, and as a result, they're rewarded not just with results, but with a reputation for being dependable under pressure. The choice is simple. You can keep doing the work that everyone else is willing to do and stay at the same pace as everyone else, or you can step into the work they avoid and move faster. The second option will never be the easier path, but it will almost always be the faster one. And if you've started late, speed matters more than comfort. You will notice something else as you start embracing this mindset. Many of the things you thought were big challenges were only big in your mind. The anticipation of discomfort is often worse than the reality of the task. You realize you can handle it, and each time prove that to you. That's how personal limits dissolve. Chapter 10. Prove to yourself every night you gave your maximum. At the end.
Here we go.
I traded my broken phone for a Galaxy S25 Plus on T-Mobile, and with what we're seeing, we splurged on a Nati Natasha concert.
Get a new Samsung Galaxy S25 Plus with Galaxy.
At the end of each day, there is one question that will determine how quickly you move toward your goals. Did you truly give your maximum effort today? Not a decent effort. Not a comfortable effort. Your maximum. This is not a question for anyone else to answer. It's not about proving anything to the world. It's about being honest with yourself when no one else is watching. If you've started late and you need to catch up, this daily self-assessment is your most important habit. It forces you to look at your day with clarity and take responsibility for how you used it. Giving your maximum doesn't mean you worked non-stop without rest. It means you used the hours you had with full commitment. It means you didn't hold back out of laziness, fear, or distraction. It means that when you had a chance to push yourself a little harder, you did. Most people will avoid this level of accountability because it strips away excuses. If you look at your day and know you didn't give your all, you can't blame circumstances, luck, or anyone else. You have to admit that you chose not to. That truth can be uncomfortable, but it's also powerful. It's the kind of truth that creates change. The purpose of asking yourself this question every night is to make sure you don't let days slip by unnoticed. You can't afford to wake up months later and realize you've been moving in circles. Each day is a chance to push forward, but only if you treat it like it matters. And when you evaluate your day at night, you force yourself to acknowledge whether you treated it that way. When you commit to giving your maximum every day, you stop negotiating with yourself. You stop letting feelings decide your effort. You work whether you feel motivated or not. You show up at full capacity even when you're tired, even when the results aren't immediate, even when no one would know if you gave less. That's where real discipline lives, in the moments when cutting corners would be easy but you refuse. Many people think they'll start working at full capacity when the stakes are higher, when they have more pressure, when there's more to gain. But if you're already behind, the stakes are already high. Every day matters now. You don't have the luxury of waiting for a dramatic moment to push harder. Your urgency has to be constant. And the best way to build that urgency is to demand proof from yourself each night that you gave everything you had. The value of this practice goes beyond the results you produce. It changes how you see yourself. When you can look back at your day and know you didn't waste it, your self-respect grows. You stop wondering if you're capable because you have daily evidence that you are. You start building trust with yourself, and that trust fuels even greater effort. You're no longer chasing motivation, you're acting from a place of self-responsibility. To make this work, you have to define what maximum effort looks like for you. It's not the same for everyone, and it's not the same every day. On some days, it might mean grinding through long hours of focused work. On others, it might mean having the hard conversation you've been avoiding, learning solving a problem that's been holding you back, that you don't leave important things undone simply because they're uncomfortable. Part of proving to yourself you gave your maximum is being willing to do the unglamorous work. It's easy to give full energy to the tasks you enjoy, but real maximum effort covers the things you'd rather ignore as well. It's handling the details, making the extra call, practicing the skill one more time, checking the work one more time before calling it done. Those extra steps separate someone who's moving forward quickly from someone who's just putting in average effort. Your nightly review should be brutally honest. Don't soften it with excuses. If you didn't give your all, admit it. The point is not to punish yourself, but to learn from it. Why didn't you give more? Were you distracted? Did you let minor problems steal your attention? Did you avoid the hardest tasks because they felt overwhelming? Identifying the reason allows you to correct it tomorrow. Without that awareness, you'll repeat the same mistakes without even realizing it. One of the benefits of this kind of self-check is that it prevents long stretches of wasted time. If you only evaluate your effort once a month or once a year, you might not notice how much you've been holding back until it's too late. A nightly review keeps you accountable in real time. It gives you a chance to course correct quickly before bad habits take root. This habit also builds resilience. There will be days when you push hard and still don't get the results you wanted. It's easy to get discouraged in those moments, but if you know you gave everything you had, you can end the day with your head high. You can remind yourself that effort compounds over time, even if today didn't show the payoff yet. Because you've built the habit of giving your maximum, you'll show up again tomorrow with the same energy. Another thing to understand is that giving your maximum every day eventually raises your definition of what your maximum is. The more consistently you operate at a high level, the more capacity you develop. What felt like your limit a month ago will start to feel normal. This is how growth works. You expand your range by using it fully. But you only get there if you keep pushing yourself to the edge of your effort. The nightly proof also keeps you from falling into the trap of good enough. Good enough is the silent killer of progress. It convinces you that you're doing fine when you could be doing far more. It lets you off the hook too easily. When you're aiming to prove maximum effort, good enough doesn't pass the test. You have to be able to say, without hesitation, you couldn't have given more today without breaking something essential. To make the most of this practice, keep a simple record. Each night, write down whether you gave your maximum effort, and if not, why. This doesn't have to be long, just a few honest sentences. Over time, you'll see patterns. You'll notice what triggers your best days, and what gets in the way. This awareness turns you into your own coach. You'll also find that your days feel more purposeful when you know you'll be
commercial.
My favorite HoneyBook feature is the automations. I'm Troy Barnes.
And I'm Orlando Wiggum.
And we are Mirror Image Photo Booth. HoneyBook automations has been extremely beneficial to our business. There could be days where we get 10 inquiries. Did
y'all peep the gay guys that's coming across my algorithm? I think that got me dead. That's funny. That is so funny. I have not even been watching the gay guys that I usually watch. Like my what's their name? What's their name? Fish jelly. I haven't been watching them. And it's so funny that's coming across my algorithm. Anyway.
You'll be reviewing them at night. You approach tasks differently because you don't want to end the day knowing you held back. This mindset shifts you from drifting through your day to driving it intentionally. You become more selective with how you spend your time because you want to be able to answer yes to that nightly question. Eventually, this habit will change how you start your mornings too. When you wake up, you'll think ahead to the evening and ask yourself, what will I need to do today to prove I gave my all? That foresight sets the tone for the entire day. You begin with the end in mind, and that keeps you aligned with what matters most. This is not about perfection. Some days will be stronger than others, but the goal is to eliminate the days when you know you could have done more and simply chose not to. Over time, those weak days become rare and your strong days become the standard. The deeper reason this habit works is because it removes the gap between who you say you are and what you actually do. It's easy to call yourself hardworking or committed.
People like Shonda Rhimes admits to her procrastination. But yet, the status of Shonda Rhimes, she can have the room to procrastinate. You see how that works? So don't look at somebody that you look up to learn from or that you're using to learn from. Don't look at them and say, well, they're procrastinating, so I can procrastinate. No, you don't have time to procrastinate. Why? Because you're behind. And you have to accept the reality, I am behind. You have to tell yourself the truth. This is what the self-assessment is all about. The self-assessment is saying, I'm behind. There's shit I got to do. There's shit I got to get done faster. You understand what I'm saying? It's things I got to do to move forward because this right here, this ain't it. Okay? So outwork everyone, remove people and habits that's slowing you down because you got time. Say yes to challenges that face growth. Learn from those ahead and act immediately, right? So why? You have to see it as you put your arrow down, your arrow, whatever direction your arrow's going, this is my goal. This is me. I know you can't see me. And this is my goal, right? And so the arrow points to the goal, right? And so there is, in between there's a gap. And that gap is lost time. Now, if you want to put the years of your lost time, that's up to you. Mine is this year's plus whatever, right? And so because of that lost time, I'm going to put is what was it? What can I write to y'all? Hold on. Okay, so I just got a map in my head. Shout out to y'all that's been holding on, that's still here, that's still like right here in the chat room with me while I be doing this. I appreciate y'all. I do. All right, so you have to do number 1, arrow map, a circled one with you in circle and arrow pointing to your goal in circle, right? And then from that, you have to make in between arrow, however you decide to do it, that states lost time, right? So it has to say, this is my lost time. And then what was the lost time, right? And so between the arrows, you put however you want to do it, it states lost time, and you put what is the lost time. And optional, the years of lost time. Honest with self. You have to be honest with yourself about what was the lost time. And I spelled that wrong. Yeah, that optional, that's not how you spell optional, but optional, the years of lost time. And you have to be honest with yourself about the years of lost time. So self-sabotage, insecurity, not saying yes to opportunities, right? That's what I could say. That's what I can write down. Self-sabotage. And then that falls into something, right? Insecurities. You have to be honest about it. So because of insecurities, didn't take opportunity. Self-sabotage can fall into relationships falling apart, keeping relationships that didn't benefit me, all kind of stuff, you know, relationships not beneficial, losing people because of my attitude, you know what I'm saying? Because it stems from the insecurity, right? And so then it goes into lost time by other people, which means external validation. Constantly kept seeking external validation, which was a part of the self-sabotage, right? So this is how you lost time. So you can identify what you lost time with. This is how do I fill this gap in? So now you have to fill in the gap. So how do you fill in that gap? No more self-sabotaging, right? Work through those insecurities, work through those angers, work through them wounds, work through them, you know what I'm saying? We know what I'm saying, because it actually is all because of that, right? Work through the external validation, which is working through those insecurities, which is everything is just working through those insecurities, right? So that right there is the time. Like that's time that you may have to take to make sure you work through those insecurities and self-sabotaging and all this kind of stuff. Everything that we've been reading about doing it yourself, force yourself to do it, focus on yourself. These are books that's going to help you work on that. And it's your choice if you decide to dig a little bit deeper into these things, right? I have a book on jealousy and what it means to be jealous. You know what I'm saying? I have to read that book. That book is a challenging book to read for me because I've experienced trauma around jealousy. So I have to look into that. So it's all of these different things, right, that I'm telling you right now, right? These are the steps because you want to fill up the gap of the lost time. So how do you fill in your lost time? This is exactly what this book is telling you. How to work twice as hard to get fast. So there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to have to negate. That's number one. There's a lot of things you're going to have to let go. There's a lot of things you're going to have to do different for yourself. Because here's the thing. Whether you recognize it or not, you may already be in a good place. You may have not lost the time that you think you lost. That's the beauty of what he's saying. Like, you know, whoever this author is saying like, yo, just take on these challenges, take on the tedious work so you could just see what you are capable of doing. just to see what you are, what you can do, because you may be surprised at how much you can do. You know, I can write a script faster. I may not realize that. I may be a better writer than what I think I am. I may not realize that. I may be excellent at doing grammar or figuring out grammar and punctuations and these things. I just have to do it to figure it out. But I have to do the challenge and the tedious work, the work. I can get through my codependency issues. You see what I'm saying? I can get through my self-sabotaging, which is codependency and whatever it is that's going on. I just have to put the work in. I have to get up and challenge myself and do it. And that could be anything that you may feel. You may have to take it back to the drawing board and teach yourself simple math. But hey, how do you move it faster? You go online, right? You go online, you find people who know how to do it, right? You go online, because what is the purpose of what you're doing? Is this getting you closer to your goal? Is this the type of math you need to know to be a nurse? Is this the type of math you need to know to be a construction worker? Is this the type of math you need to know to maybe even be a great painter? You know what I'm saying? In whatever canvases or whatever it is that you're doing. And, you know, is this the type of math that you need to be a better runner? You know, so all of these different things of what it is that you're trying to do, even if you're out there boxing, you know, shit, you might need to know math. I don't know. But here's the thing. Everything you're doing have to have a purpose to getting closer to your goal. That's it. That's the ultimate thing. And in helping you move faster to it, because you don't have time.
But the real proof is in your daily action. When your actions consistently match your words, you build integrity with yourself. That integrity is one of the most powerful motivators you can have. When you live this way, you don't just chase results, you chase personal excellence. You stop measuring yourself only by what you achieve and measuring yourself by the effort you bring. And the truth is, effort is the only thing you fully control. You can't control outcomes, but you can control whether you show up at your best. So tonight, when you lie down, ask yourself honestly, did I give my maximum today? Did I use my hours wisely? Did I push myself where I could have coasted? Did I choose focus over distraction? If the answer is yes, you can rest with pride. If the answer is no, use that truth to fuel you tomorrow.
Use that truth to fuel you tomorrow if the answer is no. What just happened? Did it stop? Did it pause? What happened? Oh, I guess that's it. Those audiobooks tend to do that. Yeah, we kind of digged into that one more than I expected. This one, I'm going to show y'all a video. Then I'm going to actually go ahead and host on another show. I'm going to play a video. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go say goodbye to this show. And I'm going to go ahead and start the next show and have a new title for that show.